All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about high-speed rail from a Maglev perspective, but it's not just about going fast. It's going to be sort of the big picture view, behind why we need something that goes fast but is also low maintenance. I want to show a quick film here. This is from UK Ultraspeed. Dr. Alan James put this together, and I think it'll be an eye-opener for some folks here.
Welcome to Maglev, meeting Scotland's 21st century economic and environmental challenges, and giving Scotland world-leading transport between our two key cities. You can ride Maglev today. It's no surprise that China, the new economic superpower, has adopted it first. Maglev is fast, over 300 miles an hour, but it's smoother, quieter and more flexible than any other ground transport. Just ask these guys.
That's high-speed rail.
There's a 70-mile-an-hour motorway on the right, a 270-mile-an-hour stretch of Maglev guideway on the left, and to enable comparison we've montaged the East Coast Main Line up the middle. All the speeds and sounds are in real time and at real-world levels. All we've got to do now is sit back and wait.
There's your ambient highway noise.
And now the Maglev is gone, powering away towards the future of transport. We'll just have to wait for Britain to catch up.
You tell me the noise differential.
Leaving this slow, noisy and polluting past behind, Maglev in Scotland is not about the city of Edinburgh. It's not about the city of Glasgow. It's about building Scotland's super city, using the sheer speed of Maglev to combine the strengths of both. It's about using that speed to outperform today's trains and cars by an order of magnitude. Speed to accelerate to over 300 miles an hour whilst the train is just leaving Glasgow and the car driver is still stuck in the city centre. Reaching Edinburgh in 12.5 minutes on the fastest possible non-stop route. Rapid efficient turnaround, then back as fast as we came. Completing 2 journeys in the time it takes a train to get only halfway across, whilst the car driver is still somewhere around Airdrie. That's Transrapid Maglev. That's the transformation Ultraspeed will deliver.
As we've mentioned before, we've had some problem with the ash cloud in Europe, preventing people from getting here. So Dr. Effenberger, who's the executive director of the Maglev test facility in Lawton, Germany, couldn't get here, but he did send his PowerPoint presentation, and he asked me in his stead to put it up here and try to discuss it as best I can. All right, this vehicle is the latest prototype of the Transrapid Maglev. It's called the TR09. Represents several advances in the technology that's presently being used in Shanghai. 10% increase in its lift capability. There's been some shrinking of the modular electronic components. Actually, I've been told by the engineers that were working on this that this is at the point now where, with the next large project, they're ready to redesign from all the things they've learned over the last 30 years. But it's actually a very smooth vehicle. And quiet. It's even quieter than the other one. They've done some more with soundproofing and things like that. And the computer processors that sense the gap between the vehicle and the guideway, they're faster too. So here we go. Ralph talks here about the climbing ability of Maglev. Gives you the ability to perhaps go over a pass rather than being forced to tunnel. Obviously, that's an economic advantage. The curve radius is something that is an advantage. You get tighter curves, and you can cant the guideway. And by the way, the Germans are interested in doing a 100% technology transfer. So it's about creating jobs in America, not jobs in Germany. I just want to make that clear. He talks about the ongoing development. This is where Ralph was going to talk about the fact that the actual construction costs for high-speed maglev are now cheaper than high-speed rail. And a lot of people roll their eyes and doubt that. But you have to consider the source. And Bugel happens to be one of the leaders for high-speed slab track development in Germany. They build the slab track for the ICE intercity systems. So they build both high-speed rail and maglev. They're the only company in the world that does. So if they say it, I have no reason to disbelieve them because they're not interested about misrepresenting themselves. And if anybody has any questions, yes?
Donald Newlands. Seriously, there was an accident on the test track a while back?
September 2006, yeah.
What happened? Can you tell us a little bit?
Human error.
Yeah?
They had it's funny because I got a phone call at 9 o'clock in the morning of the day of the accident from the Associated Press International editor who happens to be a friend of mine. And I just told him, has to be human error. I know the system. It's designed to be totally safe, but somebody screwed up somewhere. And there were a couple of guys on a maintenance vehicle. They were on the main line. There were a couple of guys in a control room where it's supposed to be a double-blind launch system, just like a cruiser where you launch a missile. But mistakes were made. People forgot things. They didn't check. They had the transponder turned off, which tells them that the maintenance vehicle's on the main line, something that in Shanghai you can't do. You can't turn the transponder off the maintenance vehicle. So they violated protocol. It was human error. It was taken to court, and that's what they found out. A couple of the things, it was an unfortunate accident, 23 people died, but we also learned things. It's sort of like what Don Missy was saying, you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your failures. And we learned that the vehicle does not derail with 125 mile per hour impact with a 50-ton obstacle. We also learned that there's no fires as a result of that. There was no collateral damage. And I found this out several months later from the German engineers. There was no track damage. I find that absolutely astounding. So, while it was unfortunate, it was totally preventable.
Don Heron, Canadian Pacific. When these vehicles go around a curve, is there any physical contact between the vehicle and the guideway? Any friction?
Nope.
All right, thank you.
And by the way, the power delivery system on the TR-09 is now completely non-contact. In the older versions, in the stations, you had contact rails and pickup arms. So you had your hotel power for the vehicles. And then up to 70 kilometers per hour, they were in touch with the contact rails. And they also had contact rails at the emergency stop locations along the guideway. All that is designed in from the beginning. If you lose power, you can glide to a certain area, and they then engage the eddy brakes. With the TR-09, it is completely non-contact.
Do we have any comparative cost of maintaining the right-of-way compared to a high-speed rail right-of-way? I mean, we use the analogy of the Japanese model, but in a real sense, what does it cost to maintain one of these things every night?
Well, that's the thing. The Germans at the test track, they're saying that the maintenance cost of vehicle and guideway are a third that of traditional high-speed rail. So there's evidently maintenance issues. I mean, you got to run, at the test track even, they'll run a maintenance cart around the whole thing, do a visual inspection, making sure that nobody's thrown a brick up on the guideway or branches have blown in there, or any of that stuff. But bolts may work their way loose, of course, as we mentioned earlier. As each vehicle goes down the guideway, it's automatically detecting any anomalies. So when the anomalies are detected, it spits out a repair report on the main computer, and they know exactly where to go to locate the problem. So it's a pretty brilliant system from my standpoint. And they go there, if they find, if it's a bolt backing out of the stator pack or something, they put it back in. So, but they're saying a third, and they were doing this stuff with Deutsche Bahn. Deutsche Bahn was mentioned here earlier by someone, but all this stuff has been tested for 30 years.